Hello, I'm going to show you now how to restrict what can be formatted within a document. So it might be the case that you have a technical document you've got to produce or some kind of branding template and you want to allow people to only use certain formatting so they end up producing a nice consistent document. Well, how this works, you really need to have set up styles for your text, your lists, i.e. bulleted lists, and also tables before you do this, because the restriction of formatting relies on the user having a set of styles to format the document with, because this restriction will remove all of the normal formatting options, i.e. bold, italic and underline. So prior to doing what I'm going to show you now, you need to have prepared by setting up the styles that are relevant to what your document should be formatted as. But assuming this has happened, what we have to do is we go to review, and then most versions of Word you will have a button over here which is called restrict editing. The reason why I've got one called protect is because my screen is slightly squashed. So it will come up saying protect, I pop it down and then I click restrict editing. You may find that your restrict editing is actually on the toolbar at the top. But once I'm ready, click onto this. Now there are two different types of restriction in terms of your document. You've got formatting, which is what we're going to talk about, and you've also got editing restrictions, which I'll talk about in another video. Well, what I do, tick the fact that I want to restrict formatting to a selection of styles, and that's where, you remember I said to you, you need to have prepared your styles. So after that, we click onto settings. Now at the moment, can you see all of the styles are ticked? Okay. So I'm going to leave that as is. I'm not going to change anything, and I'm just going to click OK. Now it's going to come up and say if you've used some formatting in this current document that isn't in a style, well, it's going to get rid of it, because this really does strip everything out apart from the styles that you're allowing to be able to use in this document. So it stands to reason that really this restriction is best to be put in place in a template before you've started to edit, so that you don't end up using something that, you know, shall we say, is invalid after the protection. But I'm just going to click yes. You'll notice, can you see my bullet points have disappeared down here? That's because they were just added using the home tab and normal bullets, not using a style. But look, once I'm ready, I click yes, start enforcing protection. You can supply a password if you want. And then when you're ready, click OK. Now it will say, can you see now all of that information's gone? It says stop protection. I can click available styles. It will tell me what's available if I click that. I can get rid of that panel whenever I want. If ever I want to get back to it to take the protection off, I just go to protect in the review tab and click restrict editing. Can you see it comes back? But the thing that this has changed is if I go to the home tab, can you see all of the sort of the bold, italic, underline, you know, your normal individual formats are gone, but can you see we still have access to the styles that we can choose, like the presets. And again, look, these styles are based on the fact that everything was ticked. So let's have a look at restricting it down a bit more. If I go to review, pop down the arrow for protect, go to restrict editing, I'm going to click stop protect, and then I'm going to click onto settings. Now you've got a couple of options. You can tick all, minimum, so that's going to get rid of the you know, everything to the bare minimum. I'm going to click none, and I'm going to be really over the top here. So I'm going to go for none, so it's unticked all of them. I know I have created in this document a style called my heading. Okay, so I'm going to go find, here we go, my heading test. So I want that. I'm going to include both variations that I can see of normal, because normal is kind of like a base style, so I'd always recommend you include that. And then once we're ready, click OK. It's going to say, look, some appearance might disappear. Click yes to that, and then away we go. And if I now go back to my home tab, oh, sorry, my apologies, I must click yes, start enforcing protection. You must remember to do that. Again, you can supply a password if you want. I'm just going to click OK. And can you see in the styles section, in fact, I'll just take that off. Watch this styles section. When I click stop protection, can you see all of the styles appear? when I click yes, start enforcing protection, and then click OK, can you see it goes down to the bare minimum that I've defined within that settings section? So now all I can do formatting wise, because these are the only styles I've given, I can format as a heading. Yeah, so I can go along and pick over items and format them as the heading, and I can use the normal style, yeah, to format, say, body text. But obviously you would set things up for like bulleted lists, you would set things up for tables, maybe you would set different styles of how you want text to appear if it's a quote, or all these different things that you might want to go for. So there's a bit of work to get this to do what you need, but if you need consistency in a document, which in a lot of places I provide training within, especially in Word, consistency is a very important thing and it's a very hard thing to achieve. This is how you can sort of enforce a consistency on whoever's doing the document and make it a bit easier, or a lot easier, to make sure that document looks the same. So that is how to restrict the amount of formats that are available to the user within a Word file.